We'll continue with HBase. So a few points before starting HBase. We know it's a NoSQL product. It will be working with low latency data set. We have compared our HDFS with HBase, then we compared NoSQL also with SQL. So it's new concept in industry and popular since 2012 and very good option today to store real data. And the main property here, we can store structure, semi-structure, and in some scenarios unstructured data also can be managed by this NoSQL product. We started with HBase and we'll say some other property of this HBase. So HBase does not have any data type, okay, because we do not need any schema while creating the table, but by default they uses one data type. So by default data type is, let me write it here, by default data type is byte array. Internally this is used by HBase. We are not explicitly writing in our table creation time as in data definition time. Okay, HBase does not have any primary key concept. It does not work with a foreign key, primary key, unique key, reference key. Okay, we don't have any key concept in HBase. We have a row key here. So row key, and why I'm defining this key of MySQL or key of RDBMS, because people who are coming from database, they should also know how we are managing uniqueness in HBase. Okay, so this uniqueness is managed here by your row key. HBase does not have PK. PK stand for primary key. It support row key. So you can consider this row key. I'll take example of row key. Don't worry. I'm just currently talking about the concept. Once this concept is over, I'll go and do the practical of it. So HBase does not support primary key. It has the row key concept. And by the way, row key is working same as primary key. So concept wise, it is same, only the name is different. Cannot have duplicate values, obviously, as property of PK, and maintains the uniqueness within your HBase table. Now, suppose I want to store one demographic result, okay? One demographic result. So let's create a record first. I want to store a demographic result of a person, okay? Demographic result of a person. So when I say demographic, actually this is categorized in two parts, personal and professional, okay? Let's say any individual person data is categorized in two format. One is a personal information when I say your credit card number, your saving card number, your ATM number, maybe your bank loan status. Those I can consider as a personal. How many loan amount is pending, how many is paid, what's your CIBIL score, and likewise. And there is a professional category also. Everybody, like if I ask you guys also, you guys also fall in this two category, the personal and professional. Professional means what's your name, what's your age, what's your company name, what's your city, what's your country. Those can be a professional, maybe your phone number. When I want to manage this data in RDBMS, so I will store data row wise, right? That's what we do in relational database management system. We'll create one table. So let's say we'll see the approach of SQL first. Then it is easy for us to compare with NoSQL or HBase, because that's what we're going to discuss. Ever since this NoSQL is in the market, there are many other things, but HBase is fitting well with Hadoop. That's why we'll be using this. SQL, I'll create a table. I'll say create table, and table name, which is, let's say, demographic. And I will write all the column names now. I will say what is the person ID, let's say PID. I'll have to define data type, integer. Then I will say what is the, so I'm trying to write first personal records. What's the card type, whether it's a saving or or a credit account. And this is varchar with a size of 10. Okay. What else? Loan status. So you can create this columns. Loan status I will keep in Boolean, right? Yes or no, or I can say a loan is paid or not paid. So I can keep this Boolean also, or let me define varchar if it is more than one character, 5. Then professional will have name, the person name who is having loan status, card type, and PID. Name will give P name as again varchar. Let's say 10 is the size. Then second table is city. Second column is city, and this is also varchar. This I'll set length as 8. You can keep designation in a company. You can keep salary also. Okay. So all these column you're creating in your table demographic. I'll give designation also 10 and last column as salary because I want to take one double also. This is how you define your table in SQL. And that is the reason if you see this DDL statement, it looks like row oriented DDL, right? This is a row oriented schema. This is a row oriented DDL. Can I refer it like that? Because when I'm going to insert a data, I will say insert into values, table values, and I'll start inserting records in this. So when I look for any individual result also, what happens internally, you do not see that. Those are part of your DB execution engine or DB engine. So DB engine will take that query and try to scan the complete row. And then based on the row, they will try to fetch the result. That's why this is slower. We have seen, we know the reason because of row oriented. Now same result if I'm trying to manage in HBase, how this result will look like. I'll create a table and I'll not write the syntax because the syntax is not similar as RDBMS. I'll write that syntax directly in HBase cell. I will graphically show you how the data will look like. Okay. Now here in HBase, you do not have a concept of column. Any NoSQL thing works with this form. Column family. You have here a column family, column identifier. So for now you can remember this syntax. I'll try to fit this syntax with my data set. Column family and column identifier. So column identifier is a part of column family. The best part I like in HBase, ever since I'm using, that runtime I can define my columns. In NoSQL, in SQL, that option is not given to us. We cannot define any column in the runtime. But here, if it is NoSQL, I can define my columns at runtime also and write the value because they will store your data in a format of cell, just like Excel you have seen. So Excel, how Excel works, we have multiple column, multiple rows. Those we are calling as a cell. This is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell. Every square is a cell. Okay, and then if you want to access it, what do we say? We say we want to access this row, which is let's say row number 1, row number 0, row number 2, row number 3, and similarly column 0, column 1, column 2, column. Looks like matrix, right? Matrix of 3 by 4 size. Can I say this is a matrix? Sorry, 4 by 5. 4 row and 5 columns. So 4 by 5. This is what Excel can look like, and data is managed in cell. So I'm just trying to represent how data will look like. Architecture, I will take a separate one separate session where we'll discuss about all internal use case of HBase, how the communication will establish, how client is writing, what is the use of zookeeper, what is the use of HMaster, what is the use of HReason server. Okay, those things will come, but let's see the let's see the concept first, how we can create a table and write some data into that. Column family, can you say this personal and professional are actual two category? So you can create this two column family for personal and professional. You don't want to mix them. You want to create separate column family, and then you can say personal will have personal person ID, card type, and loan status. This three column identifier would be a part of personal column family, and rest of them are part of professional. I'll represent it here. So this is my personal column family. Okay, and this is my professional column family, because data you are inserting in NoSQL and in HBase, obviously it's a part of NoSQL. So data you are inserting in NoSQL in HBase are managed by column wise. They're column oriented database. So data will insert not row wise, not horizontal. Data will insert in vertical manner. We'll see how vertically data can be stored. And yes, I need to define the row key also. So there is my row key. Okay. Personal will have column identifier because that's what your syntax says. Column family, column identifier. Now it's a part of this PID, card type, loan status is a part of personal column family. Here I will write PID. Let me change the color. This is PID, P underscore ID. And then you have second column card underscore type, and third column loan underscore status. Loan underscore status. Let me keep it short, STA. Now this result are actually fitting with your syntax column family and column identifier. This is a status. Okay, it's a part of column family. Similarly for professional, I will write other details: P name, city, designation, and salary. Okay, space is less, so I'll try to short this. P name is one, city is another, designation I'll keep as desig, and salary. This three column identifier is a part of, I'll be calling now column identifier. I will not use column here in HBase because we don't have any concept of column. We have column family or column identifier, no column. Now row key. So row key will have, and this can be anything. You can write R1, you can write 1, you can write 1000, because we do not have any schema here, right? So I can mix my string integer, I can mix my integer float, I can mix anything. Since this is a row key, so let me call this is R1. Okay, I can write 1 also, but let me call R1. PID. Okay, so PID is say 501. Card type is, let's say, credit card. The account is credit. Loan status, I don't know. I don't know the person loan status. So you do not have any concept of null here. If there is nothing, means this is empty. The cell is not there for R1. This is empty. And obviously, if you tell me there is a null entry and there is an empty entry as a no entry, so null is also holding some size in your database. What do you think? If when you say null, it doesn't, it is 0 byte, it's not a 0 byte, it takes some size on it. Okay, so loan status will be empty because I don't know that. P name, person name is R1. city is Indore, designation is hardware engineer, salary is 31,000. This is your first row, which means you can consider that first row key is personal data belongs to this Arun. All the detail of Arun is actually coupled or bounded with this row. So if I want to access anything related to Arun, okay, what I will say, I want to access this row key. Then I can get the complete result of this. And by the way, if you're thinking in runtime, so let me keep some 2 to 3 column, then I'll take the second case. There's a second entry as R2. Okay, the second entry is R2, and I'm just trying to manage it. If you want to write as 2 also, that option is with you. Not necessary, I'll have to match with this uh, preposition of R. So PID, I don't know, let's say this time the card type. I have the PID, the person ID is 502. I'm taking in chronological order. Card type, I don't know whether the person is having saving or credit. I'll again left it here. I'll not write any value. Loan status is there, and I'll say, yes, the person has taken a loan. The person name is Hamid. The person is from Delhi. Designation is IT. Salary is 31,000. Okay. This is my second row, and second row belongs to second person. Now runtime, you think in professional column, column family, you want to add one more column identifier. In this professional column family, runtime, you think uh, you assume that the person R3, we have one more information for this person R3, and that result is his mobile number. Okay, so we'll write here, I know 503. I know the card type also. This is saving type. I know the loan status also. There is no loan. I know the person name as uh, Sapir. I know the city as Chandigarh. I know their designation also. He's a he's a government employee. And salary also I know is somewhere 42,000. And I want to create one more column identifier for this person. And since there is a space left, I'll write it here, because this is just a visual how your column identifier will look like. Okay, this is separate. So I'll take let me take a line here. This result, this is what did we say? Name, city, designation, salary, and we know their mobile number, contact detail. So this is my mobile number. This is my mobile number column identifier. I'll write it as mob. Okay, and I'll say cross 27. Some number is there. So you are creating runtime one column identifier for third person. What happens if you try to do the same thing in RDBMS? Suppose you have 40 rows available. Okay, I'll try to match and create a case whenever it is possible with SQL. So when I have 40 rows in MySQL with some 4 column, okay, 40 rows and 4 columns. What happen if I make one more entry in the column side? So by default, this 40 rows will have null entry for the last column, right? If I want to add one more column, and that's the column number 5. So 40 rows is there and 5 column is there. I am interested to know now what will be the result of last column. So here I had earlier C1, C2, C3, C4, some result for C1, C2, C3, C4. Okay, I have added C5 as new column. I've added C5 as new column. So this C5 will hold null, null, and null for last 40 rows if there is nothing. This is one curious case in the production. If I want to update something, how can I handle it? Okay. But here I can define this column identifier. My R1 and R2 will not have anything. So this is how your data will manage and data will insert. Whatever entries you're writing. Now, if you want to update it, say you want to update the city name from Delhi to Pune. So you want to change the person, city name. What you'll say, you'll not access the complete row. You'll access this column family because this city is a part of professional column family. City is a part of profession column family. And you will only change R2, which is row key, because without R2, you cannot access this row. This is like a primary key. So you'll access first R2 and you'll say, I want to change this. I don't want to touch any other column identifier. So your execution is only working in this column identifier. It's not even going with this personal column family. So it's not touching this columns. It's not even querying on this MOB, P name, desig, and salary. I just need to pass R2 column family professional, column identifier city, and the value from Delhi to Pune. That's it. Enter and the job is done. If I'm searching for any record, I want to know the person R1 is having which type of card. Okay, I'm not running select card type star from table where condition is equal to this, because I know if I do in MySQL, it will scan the complete row. It will scan the complete row and then it will pick me this result if I'm writing select card type from the table name. But first it is scanning the complete row. That is the place where your MySQL or SQL or any RDBMS is taking a time to run a query. Okay, and hence we can manage only terabytes of data. That too is a maximum. If I'm looking for this credit, I'm looking for this credit here. I'm not going with PID, loan status, other columns. I'm saying I want to, so my query is as simple as it is. Okay, I'll say R1. I'm just writing a pseudo form. I'm saying R1, and obviously it will have some table name. So I will define my table name here and R1, and I want to access this column family, right? So I'll say personal, and I want to access this column identifier. So I'll say colon, because that's how you deal with your column family and column identifier. And you will say this is card underscore type. Guys, that's it. When you run this query, automatically this will give you the result as credit. Okay, it's not checking this column identifiers. So this is how this your NoSQL or HBase is fast. Now let's do this practically. How can we? So you in HBase cell you will not you won't be able to see this graph. This is just for your understanding. I'm creating it. In HBase you will see all this result in single format. Okay, we'll see that. So what we want to do first, HBase command. How to go to HBase cell? There's two options. I can access HBase from the cell, or I can access HBase from my programming language such as Java, Python, and Scala. So both options there. Currently, we'll see the cell option. How HBase cell will open. So to open this HBase cell, first, before opening it, okay, because if you directly open and then try to run some command, if it is not working, you confuse why this is giving me exceptions or error. So always run sudo jps command first. This should be your first step. When you type sudo jps, check all the Java process server, JPS stand for Java process server, all the daemons which are required, which are necessary for HBase communication. Now, how many services are required for HBase communication? We need H master, This is the master. In free body diagram, we have seen how the communication will work. Then second is my H reason server. Second is my H reason server. Okay. And third is my quorum peer main. Quorum peer main. This is for HBase master. This is for HBase slave. Okay. Our worker node. And this is for zookeeper, who is a main manager between client and H master, because without this guy permission, this is like a personal assistant for HBase. Without quorum peer main permission, client cannot communicate to H master. So I can call this as a PA of H master or HBase. So this is a service. Always this service should be up. Then only you open cell of HBase. What is the command to open the cell of HBase? In my terminal, in my Unix terminal of Cloudera, I will run HBase space cell in lowercase. When I run this HBase cell in lowercase, one HBase cell will open. And this cell is designed in two language. Okay, the people who designed HBase, they use two different languages to create one cell for HBase, and that language is JRuby. Okay. Just for your knowledge, I'm telling you, I'm not going to write any JRuby program or query. I'll be using HBase cell only. But how the HBase pattern is designed, this pattern is based on the JRuby. JRuby, if I segregate this JRuby, this is actually Java plus Ruby. So Java is a OOPS programming language, if you ask me, and Ruby is a functional programming language. So we are combining this OOPS and functional programming language. And that is the reason HBase can be accessed using OOPS programming, okay, and can be accessed using obviously functional programming like Python and Ruby also. Now in cell, once I go to cell, I will run the command list always. First, I will run list command. Now I'll relate this commands with my RDMS commands. So first, check databases. Okay, we don't call database in HBase, but this information is already with you. You guys know what do we mean by database. I'll try to relate with this. So check database. That's one. Second, create database. So I'll write the title first, create database. Then third, obviously use that database, use database. And obviously after using, create the table. And this table will be a part of this database, create table. Then fourth, check table, or I can say show tables. This is the command I think we run in NoSQL, SQL to check the table. And I think same command we submitted many times in Hive also. Hive also use the NoSQL. Hive also use the SQL terms because we call Hive as a dialect of SQL. Let's run these four commands first. This is my Cloudera panel, and from here I will open my here I'll open my cell. So this is your terminal. Click there, increase it, go to view and zoom in just to make a bigger text. Type HBase cell. This will take a time, guys, 10 seconds maybe. So we'll wait for HBase cell to open. All right, so this is open. This is running now. And now I want to run a command. List underscore namespace. Okay. What do you mean by list underscore namespace? And I have missed one step. because I recommended you to check this sudo JPS first. Though it is working for me, but it's not a good practice, because if this does not work, I'll confuse why it is not working. So open this cell and type sudo JPS. Sudo for permission. H reason server is there, slave of HBase. H master do we have? Yes, last service. And Puram peer main is this. These are its PID, process ID. Once you verify, you have given list underscore namespace. What do we mean by this? List underscore namespace, you are running a command to check the database. Okay, so you don't say database anymore in NoSQL. In fact, in any NoSQL, you call them a namespace. You call them namespace. It's just a naming convention. Okay, and this is what I'm running in my HBase cell. List underscore namespace, all in lowercase, because HBase is a case sensitive. HBase is a case sensitive. So remember this note. HBase is case sensitive. Unlike Hive, Hive can deal with without case data also, lowercase, uppercase, it can handle. Here, list namespace, and obviously if you want to create the database, you can guess it now. What command would it be? This command is, I'll give a create statement. I'll give a create statement underscore namespace. So let me run this command first in this cell, and then I will copy it here, copy it there. Create underscore namespace, and we'll give a namespace name as 12 p.m. Okay, enter. It took less than a second. You can see the time also, 0.4090 seconds, and again run list underscore namespace. So this is the database is created, okay, or the namespace is created here. To create your namespace, the command is this: create namespace and any name. Currently I'm giving 12 p.m. Then use this database and create a table. In this cell now, you won't be writing use and then syntax of your typical RDBMS, because this does not use keyword. When I want to create a table, so I'll say create. I don't write table. I'll just give a table name here. So let's say this table name is, I want to create inside the 12 p.m. database. Interchangeably, I can use guys database and namespace. So please bear with me. Remember, if I'm using database in NoSQL, which means I want to say namespace 12 p.m. and I want to create this table demo. You can give a full extension also, but I want to use a short name demo. Okay. Column family you always define. So we need to learn this approach also. Column family, these two are my column family, personal and professional. Column family always we will define when we are creating the table. So this is at the time of table creation, you will say personal and professional. Okay. This is the step to create the table. So here I will define my personal column family and professional. Let me call it prof in short. Now you may ask me, where is the column identifier? And what did I say? Column identifier you will be defining in the runtime. When you want to actually store this record, that time you will say the column identifier. That is the reason I can create anytime column identifier. Not necessary that it should be a part of my table DDL. Okay, I can create it anytime. So this is the way we work in NoSQL. First we will create the table, Then we will define our column family names. Once this is done, enter. I will again use list command. List command is to show the tables, to check the table, to list the table. And here in HBase, we have created one table using create statement. In single quote, we'll write our namespace name, which we have created, and we'll write our table name. Then we will write our column family. Then we will write our second column family, personal and professional. Yeah. Then you're seeing the table, it's created or not using list command. So far, so good, easy. Fifth number is it's time to insert records now. I can say insert or put records. Insert records. Now, there is no insert statement, okay? There's a keyword defined, and that keyword is put keyword. So here I will write put, and where you want to put this? You want to put this on table demo, which is a part of 12 p.m. namespace. Always you will give this full extension of your column, of your namespace and table name. Comma is equal to personal, and how your syntax looks like. This is your syntax, right? Column family, column identifier. So write it here. Column family, column identifier. What is identifier? PID. Can I write it PID first? So I will write column, and remember the syntax, guys. PID is in capital. So let me write PID in capital because this is case sensitive. Now, what is the value of this PID? What is the value of this PID? And this value is 501. I can make a multiple entries in the single line, but since we're doing first time, I will do one by one so that things are much clearer to you. This is just a one column family, one column identifier, and the value of this column identifier. If I read this in English, I'll say my namespace name along with table name, my column family along with column identifier, and the value of column identifier, which is 501 as written here. Yeah, enter it. And always remember this entry will work in a form of JSON. Whatever entries you're writing inside this table, it should be always within the JSON. JSON means you have the single quotes. Every entry is having the single quotes. And this pretty much looks like a JSON kind of key value, right? So entries like JSON, whatever values you want to write, make sure you're writing this single quote. If you're missing the single quote, then this HBase cell will start giving exceptions or error. So first entry is done. Something we missed. Yes, there is no rookie defined. There is no rookie defined. That's why I'm getting error. And if I read this error, it is clearly telling me that wrong number of argument 3 or 4. So this place is missing. It's telling me. So if I read this error is telling me this place is missing. Now here I will define my row key, and I'll say that row key as R1, comma this. Once I enter, it takes the entry, and likewise I will start giving entry for all this record. I will try to write all this information exactly as R1, R2, R3, 3 rows and all this information. How do I write it? R1 is there. So personal has how many other column? Identifier. Personal has card type. Okay, can I use a short term as C type? This is for my reference. And I think this is credit. So the value of C type is credit for person data related to row 1. Then again R1, and this is loan status, which I don't know. which I don't know because this is missing. So I will not write for loan status. Personal column family is done. Now you will define second column family, and that column family is prof, right? That column family is prof. And this column family is having column identifier. So don't take this move it first. We'll take as per our order. This move is coming at last, okay? So move I'll not create it. I'll create p name, cities, basic cell, and for all this two row R1 R2. First, it's p name, p underscore name, and the name of the person. So I'm writing column identifier then value. Similarly, second column identifier and the value, city and the value, identifier and the value, which was basic, and this guy was hardware engineer. We can give anything, okay? Hardly we care about, because we were more interested to know the value, how this value will be managed. 31,000.00. I'm sorry, I'll take this separately. This is salary, so I'll write it salary, and I'll write the value of it 0.00. So your first person entry is done. This is how you are entering it. I'm giving one by one just for your understanding currently. Once this we know the basic syntax, then I will write all this result in one query itself. That's possible. If you're thinking this is too complex to handle, because I'm giving, if there are total 100 column, then I'll be writing 100 times this. No, that is not the case. There's a simple form of query also. We'll see those query. Second row is R2. So write it here R2 and give a column family name personal and give a PID. PID we have for all. Give a P underscore ID. P underscore. And yes, one thing I will tell you, if you say P underscore ID here like this, and your this PID is different, both will be treated as a different column identifier. So make sure you're writing this in capital PID, because this common mistake we do, thinking it can handle internally. 502 is the value. Then after PID, we have card type, but card type does not have any value for this R2 row. Okay, which means I'll not write card type for this R2. I will write directly loan status, and that's value is yes. So loan status is not present currently because it was not present for R1. Let me write loan underscore or L underscore status. L status value is Y, and this is person only. Yes. Enter. Enter is done. For professional, professional is having again name, and that's p name. P name. P name is done. Then city. Any city will take. Delhi. Then designation. Designation is IT, and salary. Salary is 32,000. Okay. R2 is entry is done. Last entry, R3. Okay. Change this row here, R3. Change your column family, because this is started with personal. and change column identifier also, which is started with PID, and this is 503. We have all this result present for this R3. So PID 503. Second is card type. We have the card type. What was the column? C type. Okay, column identifier name C underscore type, and this is saving. Then this is loan status L underscore STA underscore STA, and this is no. Why and no, I guess no. Enter. Last column family is proof. P name, then person city, designation, and last is the salary. I have missed one thing which I can write it here. Okay, mobile number also we have for this person. Salary is 40,000 bucks, and the last entry will be this mobile number, and this is cross 97. Enter. All this entry is done. Now you want to see all these values in your table. So what command we write in SQL? We use select star from table name, right? So insert is done. Sixth command is check all result from table, and that table name is demo. Now here is simple command hbase, and you will use a scan. Here we use a scan, and our table name obviously along with the namespace name. So 12 p.m. is my namespace, colon this demo and single quote in form of JSON always. Can we write it? Scan 12 p.m. colon table name. This is how your result will look like here. Okay, so as column wise entry is there, not row wise entry they are taking. You'll ask me there is a timestamp. I'll take that timestamp separately why timestamp is required. Okay, so this timestamp is very important in NoSQL. We'll see the use of timestamp. Currently we'll focus on the our column family, column identifier, and the value of that. Okay, now after insert, we'll prove all the point, how to update, how to delete, how to get one random result, how to get the complete result of one set. So you can use all command, all operations which you perform in RDBMS. Only one limitation is there in NoSQL, especially in HBase, not all in the all NoSQL. HBase has a limitation, and maybe I can write that here. HBase limitations. Only one limitation. It cannot perform joining. It cannot do joining. Now if you're thinking, okay, what if I want to do joining? It cannot perform joining. So you can run from your program, or you can take all this data. You can take all this data to Hive. You can take all this HBase data to high, perform joining, take back to HBase. Okay, so we do that kind of API communication. If some limitation is there, it is not working, we try to use some other approach, some other option. Can I do joining in other platform? Okay, but this is a limitation in HBase. HBase itself cannot perform joining within the table. Reason is simple, because they insert all the table in cell wise. This is how the record is going through. For one, let's say this is one reason, this is a complete reason, and one column family. So this is a column identifier 1, this is a column identifier 2, this is a column identifier 3. Likewise, they are managing the result. If I see their architecture. So insert is done, scan is done. Now you want to check for one result. So seventh operation says after insert, we'll try to update it. Let's say update records in HBase. For update, we know what is the uniqueness in this table. What is a unique? This row is a unique. Okay, so R1, R2, R3, there are 3 rows total, and you can see this is just taking 0.270 seconds. Okay, 1/10. I want to update it, so there is no query for update like this. Again, you will use same thing. Which entry we want to update? So we want to change this. This person gets a hike after 1 year. Okay, so I'm trying to build a case. This person gets a hike, and from manager he promoted to senior manager, and I want to update this result for row number R3. This query is I'll be using again put command, the same command I'm using for insert also. If you remember, put, I'll define my namespace name, colon my table name, where you want to perform this operation on row number 3rd. Type that row. On which column family? Always guys go with sequence. Okay, it's like you are first trying to access the root, then you are trying to access subroot, and then part of it. Okay, don't go directly with the value. As we know, this is logical also. So R3, and my column family is prof, my column identifier is basic, and I want to change this value from manager to senior manager, and enter. Done. Scan the table again, and you will find that update is no more, as in the previous value is no more available now. This is updated as senior manager. So update is working. This is challenging HDFS, because this cannot do in HDFS. We cannot perform this operation in HBase. So this is one point. So 2 point you have proved here, that you can insert record in the table, you can update record in the table. Now you want to delete one record from the table, so that we are fully functional for insert, update, and delete. And then we can combine this query and make some complex operation. Delete records. HBase. For insert and update, there is one query. So it's easy to remember now. Put can do both the job. And second, for update, for delete, I will use delete. Which one you want to delete? So here from table, from row number, let's say 2, row number 2, we want to delete the loan status. We want to delete this after 10 years. Okay, the person has taken home loan, and after 10 years he has completed his loan, and now his status is null. So I don't want to keep this value, and I want to delete this. I'll say delete table name 12 PM colon demo, comma, which row? R2. And don't ever mix with SQL because you'll confuse otherwise. SQL syntax is completely different. Personal column identifier, which is L_STA, and that's it. It will take automatically that value and delete it from here. Now, if I scan it again, and I'll try to find out, do we have any loan status in this R2? And I cannot find it because it has got deleted. So insert, update, delete is done one by one. And now we want to check any random result, okay? Because I don't want to see all the result always, just like a where query in MySQL. So we want to run select a star from table name where city is equal to Hyderabad, and we see that result, okay? So ninth operation is my related to that select a star from table name where condition is equal to something, and this result you will get using the get command. This is like HTTP commands, like we use put command for writing in our cloud, get command to pull that data and access in your local machine. So this command is actually inherited, I say inspired by the concept of GitHub, how we apply pull and push options there using put and get call. And this is HTTP, pure HTTP call, get records. Now again in HBase you will write, you know the syntax, the keyword is get, and type here get, then 12 PM, your namespace, colon, table name, comma. Let's say you want to see all result related to R3. Oh, let's say R1. So you want to see all the result related to R1, just type R1, you'll get only R1 data. Okay. Now say you want to not see all the result for R1, you want to see R1 belongs to which city. You only want to print this. So no problem, you can type comma, and one extra thing, you'll have to copy this and paste it here. I'll copy it from here and paste it in my single quote, enter. I'll get just this record in there. Now, if I want to see how many people are there, like I don't want to check row wise, I want to see in the entire table how many people are from Indore actually. Suppose there are millions of entry and I want to see people belongs to this city, I can do that also using multiple column identifier. So for that, we have a show filters. I will take this as a part of advanced session because to reach to this keyword, we should know the basic behavior of HBase first. Then only I can start talking about this filters. So these are the filters which will help you to check. Okay, let me create some cases. Suppose you want to see the result from age. Okay, you want to see the result from age in between 30 and 45. You want to see this result. You want to see salary in between 15,000 to 50,000. Okay, you want to see people all are from one city. Okay, to handle all these operations, we have these filters. So filter will move to filter after learning timestamp and version concept. Okay, and here I will bring the case of timestamp because we have proved all our 5 points, how to insert, update, delete, get the result, scan the result based on our on demand. Now, what is the use of this timestamp? Extremely useful, especially for searching when we want to read our record from the table. 12 PM colon demo. All the entry has a timestamp. Okay. Now, let's say you visit today to your Gmail account. Okay, you visit your Gmail account, you visit gmail.com, and you type your username, and you type your password to access your Gmail. Today is 13th June. Okay, you can do this experiment. Today is 13th June. Today, if you not just Gmail, okay, I'm just taking example of Gmail. You can go to LinkedIn, Facebook, all this large internet companies. You change the password, okay? Whatever is your password, you change your password to anything else on this date. Then tomorrow again you visit to Gmail and again you change the password. So tomorrow it's 14th June. Tomorrow you change again this password to any other password. Maybe this is hello12, this is hello123. And on 15th June, when you visit 15th June to your gmail.com site and try to give previous password of, let's say 13th June, or let's say 12th June, whatever is your password yesterday, today also it is same, guys, because we have not changed it. So if you give your previous password, which was there in 12th June, your Gmail console will tell you you have changed your password. So you'll get one acknowledgement like this. You have changed your password. You have changed your password 2 days ago or 3 days ago, whatever it is. Okay, you're getting this acknowledgement. As soon as you see this acknowledgement, you immediately remember, okay, I changed the password to some other because of many people, many friend of mine were knowing this password, so I wanted to change this. You immediately remember. But question is not you remember. Question is how Gmail is able to recognize if I have changed my password, just like the case of SQL. Okay, in SQL, if I have one entry, okay, let me go to this SQL table. Suppose I have one entry for this person designation. Okay, I'll take the value which I have updated. It was manager for one entry, and then I changed this manager to senior manager. Now I want to access this after updating. Once I have updated this result, I want to access this. Do we have any provision in any of the RDBMS? People who have seen this, who have worked on this, do we have any provision to access this manager? After commitment, okay, if I'm working in Oracle, I have committed this or I have updated this and I want to access my previous value. There's no provision to access it. It's gone. This is updated now. There is no more version available for this. This is the latest version of your entry for row number, let's say 5. Okay, and any person who is promoted to senior manager, but if I want to see what was his previous designation, I cannot see that because this has been updated now. So this is a problem, right? Because if I'm doing historical data analysis, especially in a banking firm, especially in a healthcare sensitive business, if I'm dealing with the historical data today and I want to analyze this historical data, if I do not have history, right? This is what is a history. What I'm today after 5 years, what I will be. So if somebody wants to know what this person was 5 years ago, they want to see my history data. If this is not present, then how can they do historical analysis? So to have a historical analysis, what we do, either I can take a backup of this I'm talking from the RDMS front. If I want to check this also and this also, I need to take a backup of it first. Maybe I can trigger it somewhere. So I can take a backup and then later I can commit this and then I'll see what was the result. Now, your NoSQL has changed the complete dimension of this. NoSQL says, no worry, I will give you the option to store your history also. Okay, NoSQL says, I will give you option to store all this history as per your requirement. How many days of history you want to store? You want to store the password of 12th June? You want to store the password of 13th June, 14th June? Let's say you want to store 10 different password, which are history password here. Okay, because like net banking, if you guys log in, every 3 months we are changing our password for security purpose. So what happened? They store your password in background, and if you try to use the same password maybe after 6 months, the password of 3 months ago, so it will give you an exception that this password has already been used. My concern is only one thing, or my question is only one: how they're able to recall. If they're not managing, then how they're able to recall? Because they're managing the history. This Gmail or LinkedIn or Facebook, all they maintain the entry, and that is why they're able to give me the flag that 2 days ago I have changed it, or 5 days ago I have changed it, or maybe 20 days ago I have changed this. If they do not store my previous value, previous password, so there is a mapping actually. What they do, suppose on 12th June, okay, which was yesterday, and obviously today also my password is one. Let's say this password is United. My Gmail password is United. Okay. So United, I changed today to United 1. Then I changed on 14th June, I said United 1 2. And on 15th June, I'm trying to give the password of United, which was my previous password on 12th June. So I'll get exception that 2 days ago it has been changed. Why? Because they know my previous record password, and they know my new password, and they know when this password has been updated, and based on that they're giving me this acknowledgement. This is all possible. This is all possible because of the single concept called versioning. Extremely important and brilliant concept, versioning. Okay, what versioning says, I can manage as many versions as I want. So I can manage 10 version, 20 version, 50 version, 100 version. I think maximum is 100, not more than 100 you can manage. Since this is related to Hadoop, we try to manage our last 3 entry, but that's enough, right? 3 entry, 3 history also, if you're managing, it's fair enough. So we will try to manage our 3 history here. By default 3, if you want to change it, you can change it to any other number. But according to Hadoop, it says 3 due to replication factor. What this versioning says, what the versioning concept says, so let's see what is the by default version first of your column, family, and tables. You can use a describe keyword to describe your table. 12 p.m. namespace and database name. Table name. If you describe this, let's read from line number 1. This is your personal column family. I cannot see the column identifier here, okay? Because those you are creating in runtime. Data block encoding, we're not encoding anything. Bloom filter is row wise. Replication scope is currently 0. I'm talking about this thing, okay? Versions is currently 1, which means it is taking the latest entry, similar as RDBMS. It does not have any provision to store the history yet. I need to change this version. I'm not compressing my data currently. It's none. TTL time, forever. The TTL time is like total communication traffic time. Keep deleted cells, false. Keep deleted cells. This I will tell you when we discuss about mem store and well method, internal architecture of it. Like every in-memory business works with this, which we call list restricted policy. We call LRP policies. We'll see this part. Just hold for a while. Block size is this size. In memory is currently false, but block caching is true. This is what is actually increasing the process of HBase fast. Okay, block cache is true. So whatever result you are actually trying to scan. So if I scan one table, this complete result is cached actually somewhere. It is getting cached. And when I try to rerun the same query or related to query, one query related to that table, what happened, that table will bring this result from the cache. And obviously reading cache and reading disk, we have seen this many times. If I'm reading from cache, this takes very less time. If I'm reading from disk, it takes much larger than this. Okay, and due to many factors. So I'm not today discussing about the architecture. All these points we will see in detail when we see HBase architecture. So my second column family prof is also having one version, and I want to increase both of this version, or let's say one column family version. Okay, I want to increase the professional column family version. So you do not increase the version column identifier wise, you increase the version column family wise. Okay, so if I make this 3, then you can store 3 historical data in all of this column identifiers, because I'm putting my version right here in this professional, not in any of this identifier. So if I apply on this column family, obviously all the column identifier is affected with minimum versions of this professional. And how to do that? We'll use alter query here. Okay, so query is alter colon space single quote your table name 12 p.m. colon demo comma. What is so yes, row key is not required here. I'll write in this parenthesis, what is the name of the column? So column family name is prof. Can I write it prof here within this single quote, comma, what version you want? I'll say I want version 3 and enter. This is increasing the version of prof column family, and I want to validate this again. When I type describe 12 p.m. demo and check this version is 3 now. So it has increased from 1 to 3. Okay, and this can maintain now. Whatever column identifier is there, which are part of this column family, prof column family, it can manage 3 historical data. I'll prove you how. So let's scan it first. Again, this table, scan our 12 p.m. colon table name, and I want to change which can change frequently. I want to change, let's say, the location of this guy, Sabir. We want to change from Chandigarh to Delhi, and we want to change 3 to 4 cities. Okay, so after every 3 years or 5 years, let's say this person is changing. So what is the value to update it? We know that update value is put, and I think we have used somewhere, right? So I can use upper key to access the same query again. This was updated, I guess. I played on R3, but this time I want to apply on city, and you change the city from Chandigarh to any other city. We keep Delhi first. One change, then you make another change. Pune. Second change. Let me keep till second change first. So 2 changes I have done. Now if I scan the table, if I use scan table name 12 p.m. colon demo, what will I get? I'll get the latest entry. And what is the latest entry? Pune is the latest entry. When I scan this table, I'll get this latest entry. Okay, let's do that first and verify this result. So I see R3, and this is Pune. Now, how can I access this result, Delhi, which is history now? How can I access this result, which is history now? So you have to pass versions. You'll say get. It's a get here. Okay, scan, because the scan is always giving you complete data. It's a get 12 p.m. colon demo. Now I'm going to access my history data. I'm doing kind of historical data analysis. Then which row you want to perform this query? You want to perform this on R3. Type that R3, comma. Within this parenthesis, we'll type columns. I think columns or column. Let me see if it works. Columns, and within this single quote, I will write my column family. That's prof column, my column identifier. This is city, comma, versions, right? And you want to see the version 2. Let's say you type version 2. So when you type version 2, you see both the entry, Pune and Delhi. This is to history. If you type version 3, you'll get Chandigarh also. After updating this result, still I could manage to see my previous data, right? And this is the reason you have a timestamp, because if you want to manage your historical also, you need to know which timestamp it is. Just like if you remember in a scoop, I can relate the same query with a scoop. In a scoop, we had an option to update our table, right? If data is already present in my HDFS and I want to update that result. So what RDBMS used to suggest us, if you want to update, you need one fixed column that should be a date column or timestamp column. Without timestamp, you cannot update things. And this is the reason here, timestamp is there. One more useful activity of timestamp, I can actually search based on the timestamp also. So I can pass this timestamp, because there is one problem. If I'm using version 2, I'm getting Pune and Delhi. If I'm using version 3, I'm getting Pune, Delhi, and Chandigarh. If I'm only scanning, I'm getting Pune because that's the latest entry. But suppose I want to only see Delhi. I don't want to see this and this. So there is only one option. You can access this based on this timestamp. And by the way, this timestamp is created with a combination of your date and time. So there is fixed method but of every system how timestamp will be calculated. If you're interested to know that, those who want to do research, they can go and see how timestamp is. What is the formula for timestamp? Here I will write this timestamp, copy and paste. I'll only see that result. 1 second. I think this will not be there. Prof city. Maybe this goes inside the single quote. Yeah. So why it is giving me for Pune? Timestamp. Yeah, so it's in uppercase. Okay, timestamp and this value. So you could only see this result. This is about your version, and you can maintain this versioning on any number of column family, but not with the column identifier. If you apply on any number of column family, so it is applicable by default for all of this column identifier, which means all this column identifier can manage 3 historical data. And it's very important for nowadays business, because we are mainly talking about data science and many other things. So history is very important to predict the future. If I want to do predictive analysis, sentimental analysis, okay, I want to read a time series data of some MRI scan or ECG images, I need to know what is the history, because if I don't know the person previous history, I cannot predict their futures. Okay, a similar goes for a stock market. If you people are actively doing a stock investment in stock market, their historical analysis is very important. Just like we see 52 weeks 52 weeks low, 52 weeks high. Okay, and based on that, we can start investing on that particular stock. So there are years of study. Okay, more than 50 plus years of studies are there to read all the signal. It's not just 1 year or 2 year activity. There are many literatures, many textbook, many top-notch universities has designed their papers that how we can read about this information, and billions of amount we have invested here to get the best features. how which column is important, so that I can get maximum price on any stock. Okay, so just an example how things can be driven by different programming languages or different concept. So this is all related to research. Still, NoSQL, Bigtable is a part of research. It's been 5 to 7 years actively people are using, so it's new in the industry. And this can manage the real time now, right? Because this is what you need in real time. You need insert, update, delete. You need anytime any access, data access. Now let's go and see some alter operations. If I want to add one more column family, so personal professional is two other entity, set to separate entity. I want to add one more column family. Alter, whenever you want to change anything on existing table, you'll have to use this alter 12 p.m. colon table name, and then you can pass this name is equal to, so personal professional we have. What else we need? Let's say we need our graphical data. So we want some graphical informations. So we give graphical column family, and versions you can decide it here. Suppose you want this time version 2, enter it. So this new column family will be entered, and you can see once again describe table name. Describe table name will give you this list. Graphical is there. This is my new column family, and 2 is my version. So it can manage 2 versions at max for any column identifier which is a part of this column family. Okay, so this is the basic HBase we have completed so far, and we'll try to use some bulk loading approach now. Okay, bulk loading means I want to store one complete file in HBase. This is like one entry complex, but now we are good with basics. I think we have seen the basic commands. I'll open this terminal, and I want to store a big file. Say I have this file. I have result of this. So this is my file, which is coming from. We can take this as PSLB. Okay, so I'll create one result sample data with cat Unix command. I'll give this table name as isro PSLB dot tsv. I'll give extension as tab separated value. So all the separator is tab. All the delimiter in this file is tab separated. I'll give their year. Okay, so I'll say in 1997 we had M12. Then this was launched in Pokhran 2001. C33. This was somewhere in Odisha, Gopalpur 2005. D905L. This was somewhere in it's a Sriharikota. I'm just using some sample launching centers. Okay, Sriharikota 2004, and sorry, they're going in chronological order. So let's say 2000, I guess 17, right? We had our Mars mission. This is from unknown location. I'll write it as unknown. Okay, so now you want to manage this result directly in HBase. and this is a tab separated file. So we'll create a first file in this cell. Cat underscore isro underscore pslv dot tsv. Then 1997 tab. I'm using tab here for separate out. M12. Then 2001. Two thousand 5 and 17. Sri Hari Kota, and last entry 2017. If I'm not wrong, this was in Bangalore only. The head office of ISRO. Enter Control D, and let's write this data to HDFS. So first you have created the file. Okay, we'll define this stepwise. First we have created a file. Step number 1, create a file. Create a file with tab separated. Okay, that's known to you now because extension is there. Second is copy this data to HDFS. Okay, copy this file, copy file to HDFS. And we know what is the command to copy this file to HDFS. It's HDFS DFS hyphen put, and you can copy it to anywhere. Okay, not defined directory. It can go to root also. So source and destination, I'll just use a syntax. Source, this is the file name, and destination could be anything. HDFS DFS hyphen put file name, and I want to copy this it inside root directory only. We'll wait for this operation. Once this is done, we'll verify do we have this file or not stored in HDFS. So you can use ls also, or I'm trying to read the data directly using cat command. Data is there. So two step is done. File is created and file is copied. Operation number 3. You will have to create a table in HBase. Create table in HBase. And this table name I can give as. So I'll go to HBase cell, then open HBase. Here I'm creating table. My table name is create. I'll give all collections name as R collect. This is my table name, R collect, comma, column family. This is an important point. So you want to store. Now this is up to you. If you tell me, this is the name of what we have launched on this year, and this is the location from where we have. Now, if you want to keep this both in one column family, I can keep this in one column family. If you want to keep this in separate column family, we have that option also. So if you want to keep in one, we'll create one column family. If you want to keep in two, we'll create two column family. As simple as it is. Okay. Since this is just two column currently, let's take this in single column family. So in HBase, we are in HBase already. I'll give a name, table name as create r collect, comma, column family. And this column family is, what can be the column family name? R, or we can give row RL, enter. So table is created, column family is also created. You can list it also to check. You can describe it to see r underscore collect. So this is a small, so we use this small. Describe are correct. We can see one column family and one is a version currently. If you want to increase the version, that's what we do in production. I'll do that right here using alter operation. I'll change this name to isro underscore rl, and version I want to keep 3. So it can maintain 3 history data. Time to run a query now. So three step is your prerequisite. First you have to create data, then copy that data and create the table or collect, and this was isro underscore rl. Fourth step, run a command for bulk load. This is like a bulk loading, right? Because you can write any number of data, bulk load. Not necessary it has to be TSV always, it can be CSV or other format also. TSV, I'm just taking one example. Command, I need to go to my HBase cell, HBase file, because that's a package completely. So we'll see that package. We'll find out various Hadoop folder. Yeah, it's there. Hadoop, yeah. It's a version, I guess. I'll go inside this. And this is Hadoop folder. HBase folder and HBase bulk. The separate file I've created for HBase bulk. Step number 1 is done, 2 is done, 3 is also done. Last we are pending with. So for every type of data, they have got a different packages. This is a package defined. Let me zoom this. This is a package defined for TSV file. It's already created by MapReduce. Okay. So this operation will internally execute again MapReduce job. This will again start a one MapReduce job for TSV file and start writing this data to HBase. I can read this for you. So HBase is my NoSQL tool where I want to store the data. And remember, this command you are not running from cell. This is a common mistake which people do. This you are running from a basic terminal, not from HBase cell. So from normal terminal, you will call this HBase. You will call this package import TSV. It is TSV, that's why I'm writing it. If it is CSV, I'll write other thing. I'll use some delimiter, okay, or separator. If it is space, I'll use some other separator. So TSV for a reason. D import TSV, D stand for direct import TSV dot columns, and then HBase row key. So from this point to this point, you'll have to write as it is. This is like a syntax for you. Whatever area I have highlighted, this you'll have to write there. And then You can define your column family here, your column identifier, which we do in runtime, column family, if you have two, but we have just one column family, so I'll use the same column family name here also. I'll define my column identifier, my table name in HBase. This is my table name in HBase, and this is my file name in HDFS, which I have copied. Now we're good to run this query. So I'll copy and I'll manage based on my syntax. And make sure you're not running this from cell. You're running this from basic terminal. Paste this, and HBase org, all thing is good. I need to change this column family CF1 because my column family name is something else. It is ISRO underscore RL. So you can type here ISRO underscore RL, and you want to give this name as R name or satellite name. Then you have one column family only. You type again that same column family ISRO underscore RL, and here it would be second family name. This is from the location. What is the location? What is your table name? Your table name is R underscore collect. R underscore collect, and R C is a small, I guess. R underscore collect. What is your file name? You have copied to HDFS. We can verify from it. It's there, by the way. This is the file name. ISRO underscore TSLB.tsv. Again, I'm saying TSV for a reason. I can change the file name and give you another option to manage CSV and other data set. As soon as you're done with this query, double check everything is fine. All commands, all options, packages, space, syntax. Once you're double sure everything is good, then you can insert it. Enter, and query will start. So we'll wait for this operation. This may take 10, 20 seconds. It is connecting with HBase, connecting with Zookeeper. I can read the statement quorum peer main 2181. This is a port number of HBase, Zookeeper. This is a port number of Zookeeper. It got some exception. They're still looking for memory. So you can think from the compiler perspective, right? Then only you will know this flow completely. You have to think in a different angle. You think from the compiler side, how compiler is taking this. 8088, if you remember, this is application master port ID. So application master is launched in node manager and it's driven by resource manager. Same operation we have seen in Hive, Scoop, MapReduce, and now in HBase also. And this is also I can call as an ecosystem because this is using two things of Hadoop. It is using HDFS to store the data because ultimate data of HBase is going where? The final entry, I'm calling it some block caching. Okay, we'll diversify them. We'll create a difference between our HDFS storage and HBase storage again. But HBase is ultimately a part of your HDFS only. So I can say it's also an ecosystem. Or second last ecosystem of Hadoop. Then we can say Pig is also there, which we'll see Pig and Flume after this too. Once this is done, you can see how many records is written. So map input records, map output records, records written is, this is a snapshot. Counters, this is the URL to track your job. Now we will verify entry we have got in this table or not, as an insert is done or not. So what is the command to check scan and table name 12 p.m. colon demo. I'm sorry, this is previous table. This table is r underscore collect. Yeah. So we can see 1997, 2001, 2015. We have 4 years, right? So 4 years. That's why 4 row is there. And since they make your entry column wise, that's why we're able to see this column name, then their column identifier, column family, column identifier, column family, and everything as this. And all this command will work now. Since the data is present, you can say get collect, and you want to see for which row, 1997 row. So this entry has become a row for you. Year became row for you. Then their name is your column identifier, and their second value, which is location, that's also your column identifier. So this is a bulk loading. And if you're thinking, how can I deal with other types of data apart from TSV? So there, another example I've taken, CSV. You can take this as your assignment today and try this. So what changes you are doing? One tiny change. HBase, this is exactly same as previous package. You're using D import, and instead of column, you're calling separator. So if I say actual difference on this 2 line, there you are calling columns, here you are using separator. And in separator, you are using single quote, and within the single quote, this is comma, because CSV stand for comma separated values, right? That's the reason it is comma. If it is space delimited data, then I'll use space within this. I can use a different compression file also. So all these options currently we are seeing in HBase. All these options we are seeing currently in HBase cell. Okay, there's a provision after learning Scala, everything is pending for Scala. That's why after HBase I would like to start Scala so that we can cop up with things which are pending yet. After learning Scala, or after learning Java, or after learning Python, any of these languages, actually I can directly communicate to HBase also. So not necessary that we have just one option to work with this. We can access it from cell. We have seen it already. This is first pattern. Access it using the programming language. Like you can call all this method. You can call put method. You can call get method. You can call put method, get method. You can call delete method. You can call a scan method. What else? You can call version method. You can call alter method. So all operations which we are performing in our cell, HBase cell, we can execute all of them from this programming languages, obviously using an API. So if I want to communicate from this programming language to HBase, because this all commands are coming from HBase, isn't it? So what you need here, you need API, application programming interface. So this will try to communicate with this just like a mediator. Okay, in plain layman terms, I can say this is a mediator who is creating a bridge for this communication. So this is a bridge. It's nothing but one bridge for you, which will communicate using this API to this, and then vice versa using this API. So it's a single communication API or double communication API that we need to check. Some of the example I already have, but currently we are not in a situation to discuss about the programming terms. That's why I will only show you this. When we'll be in a position to know and start learning about this. So as a part of HBase command, you can use all this operation. You can see it here. Using my programming language, okay, this I think I have written in mix of Scala and Java. Some I have in Python also. So I'm trying to scan it. I'm trying to instantiate it using new. I'm using my exception handling, try catch block. So people who know basics of some programming, they might understand what I'm trying to do. If not, anyway, I'll be taking this after knowing one programming language, at least one. So you can scan it like this also, one by one using cell or a BigQuery using this programming languages. So I think we're good, guys. We are good to start basic operations now. Architecture I will start tomorrow. Few things to discuss: what inside HBase is doing, how they are managing the data, and this data is present in your, where is my cloud, in your HDFS. Okay, in your HDFS, and this is your HDFS. HDFS, DFS, DFS -ls, and this is the directory where all HBase entry is getting stored. If you want to see this, you can use a recursive, and you cannot read them because all the data is stored in a serialized format. All this data is storing in a serialized format. You can see it here. This is today's 13 June, 13 June. This is also 13 June. So whatever folders are there, they're created today. You can verify the data also from this system. Okay, so just 4 to 5 minutes ago, they last updated it. So all my HBase entry is exactly present in this HBase entry. Now, how they are going? So one thing is important here: how they're going from disk, because this is a disk, right? So how they're going from disk to block cache. What logic we have? This part we'll discuss tomorrow. What methodology is there in between block cache and disk? How they are able to cache this disk data here, and what is the time total? For how many second or minute or hour it can be cached? Because whenever you say cache, okay, one thing to discuss in the cache, this is always a volatile. Okay, this is always a volatile. So as soon as I shut down my machine, this cache data is deleted, right? Cache is volatile. Volatile means temporary. Volatile means temporary. So cache is always a temporary. But if I start my system and I'm running, suppose I scan one table, I scan a table of 5 million, and this 5 million data is presently stored in your hard disk in HDFS. If I scan it, what happens? This 5 million data will be cached using some method which I'll bring tomorrow, using these two terms, by the way: mem store, we call memory store. So widely we'll be talking about these two things: mem store and write ahead log. These two things are there which are responsible to create this case. So HBase is not just a year of work. It's a 10 to 12 years of study, when people did many research, launched many papers, and combined all the paper, and we got this brilliant NoSQL tools. Rest of the parts will continue tomorrow.